Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for doing this for me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no worries at all.
And my first question for you is, talk to me about this period in your career right now. It seems like you're a part of so many unique and challenging roles. Or what does it mean to you to find so much interesting work right now?
Look, it's been an incredible time in my life and my career. I feel like I'm heading down an even different path. I've kind of forayed into writing and producing, and I'm working on a film at the moment called The Ever After, which is a film that I wrote and produced, and I'm starring in with my partner Mark Webber, who's directing it and starring in it, and we're acting alongside Melissa Leo, which is a complete dream for me. And I'm interested in all facets of filmmaking, and I just loved being a part of a film like Wish You Were Here, which is a great independent drama thriller. It's such a great film.
And with the film I Wish You Were Here, I used to go to some really emotional depths as an actress. How do you get yourself in that state of mind, and how do you prepare for that?
For me, I always know that it's coming up. So I'll look at the schedule at the beginning of the week, and let's say I know that on Thursday I have a very big dramatic scene. I'll mentally prepare myself for that, and then I just lower my energy. I really get into a zone. I listen to a lot of music, and I try and connect with some things in my life that are similar to what this character is going through. And it can be hard, but I can tap into a lot of emotional places relatively easy now. It's like, you just have to practice at it, and you get better and better at it. And when I first started acting, I had to have a tear stick because I was like, I'm not sad. I'm a really happy person. I don't have anything that's happy. So they would blow this tear stick in my eyes, and I'd just start crying, and I'd pretend I was crying. But now I can really tap into things and actually get these real raw emotions, which is what I really had to do on this movie.
And you mentioned those raw emotions and going to those places. When you go to those places, after you're done, is it really, I guess, freeing for you in a way to get all that stuff out of your system?
It is. Acting is very therapeutic. You get to explore layers of yourself that you don't consciously know are there. It's really very interesting what happens, and it is a release. And they say like all crying is a form of release. So I enjoy it. It's like the greatest therapy you can ever have.
And in terms of you and the other actors in this movie, I thought there was such a connection that seemed so authentic, and that really can't be faked, because when you watch a movie, it's like you can tell whether that's authentic or whether it's artificial. How did you guys find that authenticity as a group?
Well, I really crave and believe and embrace in real. Like, that is my number one thing, authenticity and being genuine. And for me and the rest of this cast, and also even the crew, we wanted it to feel we wanted a sense of togetherness and a sense of community. And so we really hung out with each other a lot and got to know each other and explore each other's personalities and energies, and spent so much time together so that by the time we actually started filming, we were in a really beautiful place to be able to bring to life these real connections. And it's integral to feel like you're all in the same movie and you're all doing the same thing, and you are actually very connected. So we just made a point of doing that in real life.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard previous interviews with you where you've mentioned how you remember making $100 a week, and how you know that there's no guarantees in Hollywood. Do you still, I guess, sort of worry and have that mindset of you don't know where the next job's going to come from?
Oh, completely. It's funny. I never thought, 5 years ago, I never thought that at this point in my career I would still be worrying where my next job's going to be coming from. But to be honest, it's all relative. No matter what stage you're at in your career, you always have to make sure you're choosing the right projects, and you're in quality things, and it can be difficult. And I've been very lucky that Warm Bodies definitely opened the door for me, and I've had more opportunities since then. But I still always worry, is anyone going to want to cast me in a film? When's my next job going to come? And For me, it's been liberating creating my own opportunities by writing and producing films, and that is this newfound passion of mine. I love creating my own stories, and I think that's something I'm going to continue to really put all my focus into in the future.
Mm-hmm. In terms of other challenging work, in terms of being complex and interesting, you have worked with Terrence Malick. So I have to ask you, what were your first impressions of him, and what makes him so unique as a filmmaker, in your opinion?
He is such a sweet man. He is gentle and kind and passionate and quirky, and I was just really bowled over by his energy and his spirit, and he's just this wonderful artist, and he really put his faith in me as an actor. He wanted me to essentially play a version of myself, and it was the best experience I've ever had on a film set. And we would arrive on the day, we wouldn't really know what we were doing. We just knew the space that we had to work in, and we could move in and out in front of the camera, run off, and then run back in again and say whatever we wanted and improvise. And he would give us these pages at the beginning of the day, and they would serve as a launching off point for improvisation. And sometimes you'd run off, and Terrence would whisper something in your ear, tell you to say something, and you run back into frame and say that thing, and then start going off on a tangent. And it was just a really interesting way of filmmaking, and it was very guerrilla style and authentic and real and spontaneous, and it breathed life back into me in a sense. It really reinvigorated my passion in filmmaking.
You mentioned your passion for filmmaking and for acting also. I want to ask you, moving to Los Angeles, how did that change your career?
I think it was integral for me to move to LA. I was living in Adelaide, South Australia, and there's really no work in Adelaide for an actor. And I came out to Cannes. I was at Cannes Film Festival in 2006, and an American agent decided to sign me from Cannes. I was in a film there called 237, and then I moved out to LA, and it's just logistically, it's a lot easier to be auditioning and driving from meeting to meeting and trying to put yourself out there to get work. It's a lot harder putting yourself on tape from Australia, and then if you do get a call back, you have to get on a 15-hour flight and fly into LA and then deal with jet lag and then have to be on point for this 1-hour session that you have to really prove your worth as an actor. It was too much, so the move felt imperative for me.
I also read in previous interviews how at one point you were interested in journalism and you were pursuing that. Because of that background and history, does it sort of give you a different appreciation for what people, I guess, sort of like how they have to prepare for interviews and do it? Does it give you a certain, I guess, a different appreciation for what journalists do?
Yeah, definitely. I did journalism at school for 18 months, and I have a certificate for media studies. So I know how much of a challenging job it is and how journalists are under the pump constantly, and it is a creative job, and you guys can get to create all these amazing questions and, that spark people's thoughts, and it's just a really cool job. I really gravitated towards it, and I think it has helped me in terms of just putting my trust in journalists, and I understand that they're wanting to make like a dynamic story. They're wanting to write something interesting that readers are going to feel connected to, and I appreciate that. So I think in my answers I always try and tell each journalist something different or a new story, and I don't just say the same things over and over.